May the 31st went down forever as one of the saddest chapters in Peruvian history. Not about 4 days ago were we performing emergency preparedness drills in school, in commemoration of the victims struck by the May 31st Yungay avalanche in Ancash 1970. However, we observed that many of our classmates took it for granted.
If you think of it, this is just a model skill of citizens blaming our lack of preparedness, awareness, and account of the seriousness of the events on our also faulty government. However, one thing's for sure. Rather than taking a passive approach, we're here to make a call to action.
Issue on the table. The dire consequences of this natural disaster is not caused by nature at all. In fact, they are caused by our flawed decision making. That is to say, these teeny tiny little decisions that we take day to day, that at first regard may seem insignificant. However, on the long run, well, not so much. They are quite the opposite. Calamity appears when one forgets about nature. This is an ancient Japanese proverb that accurately depicts our human being and nature conflict. And well, ideally, if we respect the natural order of respecting our environment, everything should follow. In reality, the real case scenario is not similar to that one. Actually, when speaking about natural phenomena, which we should not refer it as natural phenomena anymore, because if we just look up the definition in the dictionary, phenomenon stands for an event that rarely happens and has not been recorded before. However, for instance, if we talk about El Niño Costero phenomenon, the El Niño Costero phenomenon, we may see that it has made the headlines for the past years now. So how should we refer to them if we should not refer to them as natural disasters or natural phenomena? Well, you may call them announced disasters. Now, like the saying goes, better be safe than sorry. Following that same premise, and I want to quote Rohini Swaminathan. If you live in the developed world, then this might not resonate in the same way as it does for someone who lives in the developing world. What I'm trying to get at is that, in the first world countries, they have better coping mechanisms for prevention and recovery of this mass tragedies called natural disasters. In light of the recent events, this El Niño Costero phenomenon is a quintessential example of the lack thereof. This anomaly will be present as long as global warming is. Yes, climate change is just one of the drivers, and one of the risk drivers. However, this coupled with environmental degradation and poverty and inequality and global economic development exacerbates the conditions of hazard, vulnerability, and exposure. Added up to this disaster unpreparedness, we've also got the aftershocks and the after effects. It is not only related to the material, but also just the fact of losing everything that is dear to you, and just having to undergo a series of events and changes that have been forced. Now, just summing everything up, we need to stop reacting, and instead of reacting, we need to start proacting. You might be asking yourself, precisely, so how does one reduce the risk? There are 3 ways in which we can tackle risk reduction, being those: prevention, preparedness, and mitigation. So far too long have we focused on regretting what we could have prevented. So when talking about prevention, we're talking about avoiding the existing hazards and existing risks. We have to relocate those people that are settled in hazardous areas. Preparedness is not only about forethinking the consequences of these events, but is in fact the professional recovery organizations and how they anticipate, how they react to, and how they recover from the impact of natural disasters. Implementing warning systems or installing evacuation routes or emergency routes. And this, of course, is the first defense line. So the role of social media is really important during natural disasters, because we all know that hotlines are unavailable and are jam-packed during these types of events. And it seems quite far-fetched to be using or to be tweeting in these times of crisis. But there are different advantages that tweeting instead of, for instance, calling or just like texting may bring to the public eye.
For instance, the dissemination of second source information and also being updated and using updating threats. Mitigation, and that is about lessening and about the limitation of the impact of natural disasters, or just planting a tree that will help with stabilizing slopes. But it's not only about that. According to Princess Margriet, she said that by spending money and investing on risk reduction, we'll be saving double the amount or even up to triple the amount of money that may be used in reconstruction.
So, what should be the takeaway from this video?
When a disaster strikes, the time to repair has already passed.
Thank you very much. Balls in your cart.
Balls in your cart.
Courts in your ball. Courts in your ball.
Courts in your ball.